Does last night's loss put all the LeBron-MJ comparisons to rest?
For me, it does. And again, it's not a huge knock on LeBron James that he's not Michael Jordan. To me, the comparison is Magic Johnson. Both of them preferred to be facilitators. Magic a little bit more than LeBron James. But that's who I think the comparison is. And Magic Johnson's career was cut short. I think at age 31, he basically stopped and he came back. But again, to me, the conversation about Michael Jordan, I think we clearly know who LeBron James is. He's not a fourth quarter killer. He's everything else except that. And Jordan was so much a killer in the fourth quarter and in the games. I just think that takes it off the table and we need to move on.
I have never seen either of them play. And if you put this graphic up, I don't even know who they are. I have no emotional connection. LeBron, MJ in the finals. I'd be like, yeah, the one guy scores a few more, but geez, that guy on the right, he appears to be way better. And by the way, the guy on the right didn't score as much because he's more efficient. Some of this is...
Why did you leave off 6-0 versus 3-5?
Well, no, because we're not.
They are playing for wins and losses.
It doesn't really fit the
Those are championships which are won by teams. When we're talking about GOAT, it's dude. Dude versus dude.
Well, let's throw Will Chamberlain's numbers up then.
Well, I've always thought he's underserved. Jabbar's underserved.
What?
I'm saying if we're going to go greatest player of all time, GOAT, just put the numbers up.
But the winning, I mean, I think LeBron's second to Jordan, but I think it does have to end. I mean, when you're separating the elites, the ultra elites, you nitpick. Little failures here, little achievements here, you know, nuances and stuff like that. That's how you differentiate. And one guy being undefeated in the finals, the other guy losing 5 times, only winning 3 so far. And we can say that I do believe Golden State was better than any team Jordan played in the finals.
I think the Spurs teams were better than any team MJ played.
Okay, but you can't just... LeBron also lost to teams that were worse than his team, like Dallas. I mean, that Jordan never lost to a team that was worse than the Bulls.
True.
He never lost to a team as bad as I think that Dallas Mavericks team was.
He never beat a team as good as Golden State 2 years ago.
But he beat everybody who was in his path. And then you can go Jordan led the league in scoring 10 straight years. LeBron's only led the league in one thing, one time, scoring one time. Like Jordan, I think beyond just the championships, there are other factors that make Jordan the GOAT.
You used to work in the news business.
Yeah.
Okay, like I worked in a newsroom, TV, and you worked in a print newsroom. Was the guy were the people that won Sports Writer of the Year the best sports writers? No. Not in my business.
That's
well, those are titles.
That's more subjective. This is objective.
It's awards, it's trophies,
court.
It's...
On the court, it's
here's my thing. It's 2 things. One, LeBron hasn't established himself as far as, is he going to be a scorer? Is he going to be an assist guy? He hasn't singular defined that. So he's all over the place. And that's a good thing for him because now he's not going to be... If he wanted to average 35, he could do that if he zoned in on that.
No question.
Now, here's the other part of it. Who's writing the narrative? We're living in today's world where it's all about... We still are used to seeing Michael Jordan and talk Mike Jordan. 15, 20 years from now, it's millennials who are going to be writing the narrative in regards to what they saw, who they saw. LeBron James' name is going to be up there on top of that list in regards to what they saw and what they felt. So the narrative today is Michael Jordan. 15, 20 years from now, it may be something totally different.
Who do you think was a better player? Or Jordan or LeBron?
2 different players from a basketball perspective. 2 totally different players.
True, but
you're picking sides. Who you picking?
I'll say Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Michael Jordan.
And again, Colin, we can't sit here and act like... What I don't like is the removing of the scoreboard from because that is the point. They roll the ball out there for the scoreboard, not for the stat sheet.
Especially in basketball.
Yeah, LeBron's
it's different in football and baseball.
Well, I gave you my scoreboard. That was my personal scoreboard.
No, that's a stat sheet.
And he's going to own multiple records when he's done winning. But the defining point you're going to always go back to is you look at the finals record.
Look, I think
no
there's...
Who he play.
Russell's got 11.
You mentioned Will, but his individual numbers aren't close to Jordan's.
Well, by the way, 5 more years at LeBron, how close are MJ is going to be to LeBron?
I think there's a lot of similarities. You guys brought up Wilt Chamberlain. LeBron and Wilt Chamberlain, maybe the greatest physical forces we've ever seen in the game.
They are.
Statistically as well. LeBron, you're right. He's going to rewrite the record book just like Wilt rewrote it.
Blow Michael's numbers off the
But when it comes to championships,
winning,
you look at Wilt and you say, how did he only win 2?
And you always go back to Russell. You always go back to Russell.
And LeBron, you're going to feel the same way.
Too many gifts. If LeBron were more refined, just a scorer, I think it would be easier to build a winning team around him. Sometimes you can have too many gifts.
That's a great point. I've had one former player who's won championships told me that LeBron would have more titles if he picked what he was going to be. I'm either going to be Magic and give you 22 points and 12 assists a night, or I'm going to be like a true small forward, lead the league in scoring and 10 rebounds. Because that makes it easier for the other players to know their role.
So you can relate to having too many gifts. I can't. That's the argument.